Okay, so as a tech journalist, my job is usually pretty straightforward. I look at data, I find the glitches, the bugs, the user errors. But then you get a story that just doesn't fit, a story that defies any simple explanation. Today, we're diving headfirst into a digital mystery that starts with that little device in your pocket and ends somewhere that, well, according to every map we have, just shouldn't exist. This is the story of ghost routing.
You know the voice. We all do. We hear it every single day, and we trust it, right? We trust it to guide us through our world, to get us from A to B as fast and safe as possible. It's this voice of total certainty, of digital perfection, and we just follow it, no questions asked.
But what happens when that trust is, well, misplaced? What happens when the path it so confidently lays out for you leads somewhere else entirely? That's what ghost routing is all about. It's where the lines on the map start to blur and your destination is the last place you'd ever expect to be.
So our investigation really kicks off with a case from back in 2019. It's about a driver, a woman named Sarah, on a totally routine trip. Her navigation app makes this innocent-sounding suggestion. Honestly, when I first heard this story, I brushed it off. Just a software bug, I thought. Man, I was wrong.
So Sarah's driving from Chicago to Indianapolis. Pretty standard stuff. Her GPS pings her to avoid some traffic, offers a detour. Says it'll save her 45 minutes. I mean, who hasn't seen that offer? It's super tempting. So she taps the screen, accepts a new route, and turns onto a road she's never seen before.
But almost immediately, things start to feel off. The nice paved road gives way to cracked asphalt, which then turns into gravel. And then, believe it or not, just a dirt path. It's barely wide enough for her car. And the whole time, her GPS is just calmly insisting, "Yep, you're on the right track, keep going."
And then you have arrived. The app declares she's reached her destination in a town square that felt completely unstuck in time. The buildings all looked like something out of the 1950s. But what was really unsettling was the complete lack of anything modern. No cell service, no Wi-Fi, absolutely no way to call for help. Sarah was trapped there for 3 full days. Can you imagine? Every single road she tried, every desperate attempt to get out just looped her right back to that same town square. When she finally found a way out, a road that just appeared out of nowhere, she drove straight to the cops. Their investigation? Found nothing. Her car's own logs just showed her driving in circles for 72 hours in a completely empty field. But Sarah remembers the town, and she definitely remembers the people she had to leave behind.
Now, Sarah's story is completely jarring, right? But here's the kicker. It's not unique, not even close. As I started to dig into this, I realized her experience was just one single piece of a much bigger, and honestly, a deeply disturbing pattern. Yeah, this is not some new software glitch. I mean, look at this timeline. The reports go back for decades. It starts with these whispers of some classified military project back in the 90s. Then you start seeing these individual cases pop up, like some guy who, according to people trapped there, showed up from the year 2012. And the incidents just keep coming. A missing driver named David in 2018, Sarah's ordeal in 2019, it just goes on. Then there's Lisa, another witness. She and her husband somehow managed to escape after being stuck for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. She told me there was a whole community of about 50 people there, and every single one of them had been led there by their GPS. Some had been there for so long that they'd had kids. Kids who had never, ever seen the outside world. Okay, and this might be the most chilling piece of evidence I came across. This is the last known recording of David, that driver who went missing in 2018. The audio just cuts out right as he's describing what he sees, right as he's about to enter one of these places. He was never seen or heard from again.
Look, stories are one thing, anecdotes are powerful. But as a journalist, I need data. I need proof. And this is where the whole thing shifts from just being some unsettling modern folklore to a verifiable technological anomaly. And believe me, the data logs are, in their own way, even scarier than the stories.
So check this out. What's absolutely wild here is the disconnect. On the one hand, you've got all these incredibly consistent, detailed stories from people who were there. They saw a real town, real people. But on the other hand, what do the GPS logs show? Nothing. Literally, null coordinates, routes that don't even exist. And every single time, the official report gets flagged with the same label, user error.
But I got an anonymous tip from a former engineer.
someone who worked for one of the big GPS developers, and he tells a very different story. He claims that internally, they logged over 500 of these exact same reports in just 5 years. And the official policy? Flag it, close the ticket, and just move on.
And what's really crucial to understand is that these incidents aren't random. They're not happening all over the place. A geographer, Dr. Evan Park, he actually mapped them, and he found that they all cluster in this ring around a very specific part of the Midwest, an area that just happens to be known for really strange electromagnetic interference. It suggests there might actually be a physical cause for these digital ghosts.
So what in the world is actually going on here? The data proves something is happening, but it doesn't tell us what. And that's where we have to dive into the world of theories, which, let me tell you, range from the scientifically plausible to the deeply, deeply strange.
Yeah, the theories are all over the map. You have some scientists who think that these powerful electromagnetic fields could just be tricking the GPS algorithms, creating phantom roads that aren't really there. Dr. Park, the geographer, he pushes a more radical idea, a temporal fold, basically a wrinkle in time where the GPS is accidentally sending people to a different era, or maybe even a parallel world. And then you have the military angle. A retired colonel, a guy named Raymond, claims this whole thing sounds exactly like a psychological weapon his team was developing back in the 90s.
And you know, this brings up a really fascinating point. Maybe this isn't a new phenomenon at all. Think about it. For centuries, folklore has been packed with stories of things like will-o'-the-wisps or phantom roads that lure travelers off the beaten path. Maybe what we're calling an algorithmic anomaly today, our ancestors just called a luring spirit. It could just be an ancient mystery that's found a brand new modern interface.
All of this brings us right back from the theoretical to something intensely personal. Because the data is, let's face it, inconclusive. The stories are absolutely terrifying. And that piece of technology, it's still in all of our hands every single day.
And this is the warning from Sarah, the woman who got trapped for 3 days. It's such a stark, simple piece of advice from someone who's actually been there. She told me she feels lucky, but she's haunted every single day by the thought of the people she had to leave behind. Ultimately, this whole thing forces us to ask a really fundamental question about our lives today. We've basically outsourced one of our most ancient survival skills, navigation, to these complex algorithms that, let's be honest, most of us don't really understand. So when the digital world and the physical world crash into each other, which one do we believe?
So I'll just leave you with this thought. The next time you're out driving and your GPS suggests that really tempting shortcut down some road you've never seen before, what do? Do you trust the machine or do you trust your gut? Would you follow it into the unknown or would you turn back?
Think about it carefully, because whether this is all just a glitch, a fold in time, or something else entirely, one thing seems pretty certain. That town that isn't supposed to exist, it's always accepting new residents, and it doesn't seem to offer a route home.